The dog's name was Bruno. He was not a strong dog, not a fast dog, and not even a beautiful dog. His fur was rough, one of his ears was slightly torn, and his body looked weak because many days he slept hungry on cold streets. But inside Bruno's heart, there was something rare: patience. Every morning, Bruno sat outside a small bakery near the corner of a busy street. Hundreds of people passed him every day. Some ignored him, some pushed him away. Some children threw small stones at him just for fun. But Bruno never barked at anyone. He never became angry. He just quietly sat there, looking at people with tired but hopeful eyes. The bakery owner was an old man named Henry. Every night before closing the shop, Henry gave Bruno one small piece of bread. Sometimes it was fresh bread, sometimes it was dry and hard. But Bruno always accepted.
I've been playing this puzzle game on my phone. It's called Arrows Go. It's simple, but
accepted it thankfully. He wagged his tail as if someone had given him the biggest treasure in the world. One rainy evening, the storm became very strong. Cold wind filled the streets. Shops closed early. Cars disappeared. Even people were afraid to walk outside. Henry looked at Bruno sitting near the bakery door, completely wet and shivering. Henry softly said, "Poor dog, why don't you leave this place?" But Bruno did not move. Henry sighed and placed one small piece of bread near him before locking the bakery and leaving. That night was very difficult. The rain became heavier. Thunder shook the sky. Bruno's body trembled from cold. He had not eaten properly for 2 days. Still, he stayed there patiently near the bakery, because deep inside, Bruno believed something simple. If I stay loyal, someday life will change. Hello everyone, my name is Wali, and this story is not just about a dog. This story is about patience, loyalty, and the silent strength that most people lose too early. And maybe after this story, something inside you will change too. The next morning, Henry opened the bakery and was shocked. Bruno was still there, wet, weak, hungry, but still waiting quietly. Henry slowly walked toward him and said, "You really trust this place that much?" Bruno wagged his tail slowly. For the first time, Henry smiled emotionally. He brought a bowl of warm milk and fresh bread for Bruno. From that day, something changed between them. Every morning, Bruno waited outside the bakery, and every evening, Henry fed him. Weeks passed, then months passed. Bruno became healthier, but life still was not easy for him. Many nights were cold. Many days people still treated him badly. But Bruno never lost patience. One afternoon, a rich man came to the bakery in a luxury car. He noticed Bruno quietly sitting near the entrance. The man laughed and said, "Why do you feed this useless street dog every day?" Henry calmly replied, "Because loyalty is never useless." The rich man smiled mockingly and left. But Henry's words stayed in the air. Because the truth is, many people only respect power, money, beauty, or success. Very few people respect patience. Very few people understand silent loyalty. One night, Henry suddenly became very sick while closing the bakery. His hands shook badly. He collapsed inside the shop. The street was empty. Nobody saw him. Nobody heard him, except Bruno. Bruno immediately stood up and started barking loudly. He barked again and again. He ran into the street desperately, trying to stop people. Most ignored him. Some got annoyed, but Bruno did not stop. Finally, a young delivery boy noticed something was wrong. He followed Bruno into the bakery and found Henry unconscious on the floor. An ambulance was called quickly. Doctors later said something important. If he arrived a little later, he might not have survived. When Henry woke up in the hospital, the first thing he asked was, "Where is Bruno?" The nurses smiled. "Your dog saved your life." Henry's eyes filled with tears. For years, people called Bruno useless. But in one night, his patience and loyalty became more valuable than anything else. After Henry recovered, he brought Bruno home permanently. For the first time in his life, Bruno had a warm bed. For the first time, he slept without fear. For the first time, he did not need to wait outside in the rain. But the beautiful part of the story is this. Bruno never changed. Even after receiving love, he stayed humble. Even after finding comfort, he stayed loyal. Even after life became easier, he stayed patient. And that is where most humans fail. Many people become arrogant after small success. Many people become impatient when life becomes difficult. Many people quit too early because results are slow. But patience always works quietly. A seed does not become a tree in one day. The sun does not rise immediately after the darkest hour. And good things rarely come fast. One evening, Henry sat beside Bruno and gently said, "You waited outside my bakery for months without knowing if life would ever become better. Yet you stayed loyal. Humans could learn a lot from you." Bruno simply rested his head near Henry's feet peacefully. Years later, people in the town knew Bruno as the faithful dog. Customers came to the bakery not only for bread, but also to see the dog whose patience changed his destiny. Children who once threw stones at him now lovingly patted his head. People who once ignored him now respected him. But Bruno never asked for revenge. He never hated anyone, because patience does not waste time proving people wrong. Patience simply waits for truth to reveal itself naturally. And honestly, this is something many of us need to understand. Today, people want everything immediately. Fast success, fast money, fast results, fast happiness. And when life delays something, they become angry, frustrated, and hopeless. But sometimes life is not rejecting you. Sometimes life is preparing you. Sometimes the waiting season is building your strength quietly, because if Bruno had left the bakery during those painful nights, he would never have found a home. If he became aggressive and angry, Henry would never trust him. If he lost patience, his story would end on the streets. And many people are doing exactly that in real life. They leave too early. They quit too early. They lose hope too early. Patience is painful sometimes, but impatience destroys futures. So if life feels slow right now, if nobody notices your struggle, if your hard work is not giving results yet, do not lose hope. Keep going quietly. Keep improving silently. Keep trusting the process, because patience has a strange power. It tests people first, then rewards them later. And maybe your biggest blessing is simply taking longer to arrive.
From my
Title: Rusty. What if the thing everyone ignores today becomes the reason someone survives tomorrow? In a small town lived an old horse named Rusty. He was no longer young. His brown coat had faded with age. His legs were slow, and his body carried the marks of many years of hard work. Once, Rusty had been the strongest horse in the town. Farmers admired him. Children loved him. People often stopped to watch him pull heavy carts with ease. But time changes everything. As years passed, newer and stronger horses arrived. Tractors replaced many of the jobs Rusty used to do. Slowly, people forgot about him. Many called him useless. Some laughed when they saw him walking slowly through the village. "He's too old now," they said. "He has no value anymore." But Rusty's owner, an elderly farmer named George, never abandoned him. Every morning, George fed Rusty before feeding himself. Every evening, he brushed Rusty's old coat and thanked him for his years of service. Rusty could not understand every word, but he understood kindness. And so he remained loyal. Years passed peacefully. Then one summer, a terrible drought struck the region. The rivers became smaller. The fields turned brown. Farmers struggled to find water. Everyone worried about the future. One afternoon, George went searching for water in the hills. Rusty followed him. The sun was hot. The journey was long. Hours passed. Suddenly, George slipped while climbing a rocky path. He fell hard and injured his leg. The pain was severe. He could not stand. The area was isolated. No one was nearby. George looked around helplessly. For the first time in many years, he was truly afraid. As the sun slowly began to set, the temperature started dropping. George knew that spending the night alone in the hills could be dangerous. He gently touched Rusty's neck. "My friend," he whispered, "I don't think I can make it home." Rusty stood quietly beside him. He could have wandered away. He could have searched for shelter. But he did neither. Instead, he remained beside George throughout the evening. When darkness arrived, Rusty noticed a faint light far in the distance from the village. Slowly, he began moving toward it. Then he stopped, then moved again and again, almost as if he was trying to attract attention. Near the village, a young shepherd noticed the unusual behavior. Something felt wrong. The shepherd followed Rusty. Rusty walked ahead. Every few moments he looked back to make sure the young man was still following. After a long journey, Rusty finally led him to George. Help arrived quickly. Several villagers came with supplies and carried George safely home. Later, the doctor said something important. If help had arrived much later, the cold night could have become very dangerous. The villagers were shocked. The old horse everyone called useless had saved a man's life. News spread across the town. People began seeing Rusty differently. Children who once ignored him now brought him carrots. Farmers greeted him with respect. Visitors stopped to hear the story of the old horse who never abandoned his owner. But Rusty never changed. He never became proud. He never demanded attention. Every morning he still waited patiently beside George's house. Every evening he rested quietly beneath the same old tree. That is one of the greatest lessons in life. Many people become arrogant after receiving praise. Many people change after finding success. But true character remains the same whether people notice it or not. Months later, George sat beside Rusty and smiled. "You spent your whole life serving others," he said softly. "And when everyone thought you were finished, you showed them your greatest value." Rusty gently lowered his head. The old horse did not need applause. He did not need recognition. His actions had already spoken for him. Years later, people still remembered Rusty's story. Not because he was the fastest horse, not because he was the strongest horse, but because he remained loyal when loyalty was difficult. Today, many people quit when life becomes hard. Many people walk away when rewards are slow. Many people believe their value depends on what others think of them. But Rusty's story teaches something different. Your value does not disappear because others fail to see it. Your purpose does not end because your best days seem behind you. Sometimes, life is simply waiting for the right moment to reveal your importance. If Rusty had believed the voices calling him useless, he might have given up. If he had stopped caring, George might never have survived that day. But he remained patient. He remained faithful. And eventually, the truth revealed itself. So if life feels unfair right now, keep moving forward. If people underestimate you, keep improving quietly. If success seems delayed, do not lose hope. Because sometimes the greatest rewards come to those who refuse to quit. And sometimes, like Rusty, your most important moment is still waiting ahead. Moral: never measure your worth by other people's opinions. Patience, loyalty, and consistency often reveal their value when the right moment arrives. Shadow. The horse's name was Shadow. He was not the fastest horse, not the strongest horse, and certainly not the most beautiful horse in the village. His coat was dull. His mane was rough. One of his legs carried an old injury from years of hard work. Whenever people saw him, they often laughed. "That horse is finished," they would say. "He is too old to be useful." But inside Shadow's heart lived something rare: faithfulness. Every morning, Shadow stood quietly outside a small farm at the edge of the village. The farm belonged to an elderly farmer named Thomas. Years ago, Shadow had helped Thomas build his farm. Together, they carried wood, crops, water, and supplies. But as time passed, Shadow became old. The younger horses replaced him. People thought his best days were over. Still, Thomas never abandoned him. Every morning before sunrise, Thomas brought Shadow fresh water. Every evening, he fed him and gently patted his neck. Many villagers questioned him. Why spend money on an old horse? Thomas always gave the same answer: because loyalty deserves loyalty. Shadow never understood the words completely, but he understood kindness, and he loved Thomas with all his heart. One winter arrived harsher than any before. Snow covered the roads. Cold winds swept across the fields. Many people stayed inside their homes. Life became difficult. One evening, Thomas needed medicine from a nearby town. Although the weather was dangerous, he had no choice. He climbed into a small wagon and began the journey. Shadow followed quietly behind. The road became slippery. Snow continued falling. Dark clouds covered the sky. Halfway through the journey, disaster struck. The wagon slid on ice and overturned beside a frozen ditch. Thomas was thrown to the ground. His shoulder was badly injured. The pain was unbearable. He tried standing but collapsed immediately. The storm became stronger. Snow fell faster. Soon darkness surrounded everything. Thomas realized something frightening. Nobody knew where he was. Nobody would come looking until morning. And by then, it might be too late. He looked toward Shadow. The old horse stood nearby, trembling in the freezing wind. Thomas gently whispered, "My friend, I think this may be the end." But Shadow did not leave. He stayed beside Thomas all night. The freezing wind howled around them. Snow gathered on Shadow's back. Still he refused to move. Hours passed. Then Shadow suddenly lifted his head. Far away, he noticed a faint light from a small cabin. Immediately, he began moving toward it. After walking a short distance, he stopped. Then he returned to Thomas. Again, he walked toward the light. Again, he returned. It was as if he wanted Thomas to understand. With great difficulty, Thomas grabbed Shadow's harness. Slowly, painfully, Shadow helped him stand. Step by step, they moved through the snow. The journey felt endless. But Shadow never stopped. His old injured leg ached. His body was exhausted. Yet he kept moving. Finally, they reached the cabin. The family living there quickly brought Thomas inside. They called for help immediately. The doctor later said something important. If he had remained outside another hour, he might not have survived. News spread across the village. People were shocked. The old horse everyone called useless had saved a man's life. The same horse they mocked had become a hero. Suddenly, everything changed. Children came to visit Shadow. Farmers brought him treats. Travelers stopped to hear his story. But Shadow remained exactly the same. He never demanded attention. He never expected rewards. Every morning he stood quietly beside Thomas. Every evening he rested peacefully near the barn. One day, a young boy asked Thomas, "Why is Shadow so special?" Thomas smiled. "He never gave up on me when life became difficult." The boy thought for a moment. Then he asked, "Is that what loyalty means?" Thomas nodded. "Yes, loyalty stays when leaving would be easier." Years passed. Shadow became famous throughout the region. People called him the faithful horse, but his greatest achievement was not saving Thomas. His greatest achievement was showing people a lesson they often forget. Many people stay when life is easy. Very few stay when life becomes hard. Many people are loyal when there is something to gain. Very few remain loyal when there is nothing to receive. Shadow taught everyone that true character appears during difficult times. Today, many people quit too early. Many people leave too early. Many people stop believing too early. But success, trust, friendship, and purpose often require patience. If Shadow had abandoned Thomas during the storm, nobody would remember him. If he had thought only about himself, his story would have ended that night. Instead, he remained faithful. And because he stayed faithful, he changed his destiny forever. So if life feels difficult right now, do not give up. If nobody notices your efforts, keep moving forward. If your reward seems delayed, remain patient. Because sometimes life is testing your character before revealing your blessing. And sometimes, like Shadow, your most important moment is still waiting ahead. True strength is not always found in power. Sometimes true strength is simply staying when everyone else walks away. Moral: loyalty and patience may go unnoticed for a long time, but eventually they reveal a value greater than talent, beauty, or strength.